What is up, survivors? We're back from another mod review, and again, we're kind of doing a 2 for this time around, but let's get right into it. This is called the Spikes Plus mod. This mod adds a bunch of different base defenses. We'll get into it, and it's actually pretty intuitive, pretty smart build, but let's pop right into it. So what this mod will actually do for you is make spike walls, spike pillars, and spike fence foundations of certain material, and then also make it so that they can work right with your other building structures. So you'll need this spike station in order to operate this, and once this spike station is built, you'll be able to craft this stuff in here. You have different categories. You have metal, scrap, stones, tech, wood, and you'll be able to craft them in here. You'll have spike walls, spike pillars, and spike fence foundations for some of these, but some of them don't have the foundation section. What we have here is the metal ones. That's the metal section. We have a scrap metal section, so you can just use raw scrap metal to make some of the. So you can just use raw scrap metal to make some of this stuff, which is pretty cool. And then we have a stone section. These are called obsidian, so you do need raw obsidian in order to make these. This is the spike wall, and then the spike pillar as well. We have the tech. You can actually make a tech spike wall, which is pretty cool. And then also the traditional wood stuff as well. The wood and stone variants can actually be crafted on your inventory too, but everything else does need to be crafted on that crafting bench, and we have some of it out here to take a look at. So what we have here is just the variants that I was talking about. So from here, this is the metal stuff. So this is the metal spike pillar, metal spike wall, metal spike fence foundation. The metal spike wall operates very much like a traditional metal spike wall does. It'll just do damage to you and knock you back. But the other thing is that if creatures can't hurt the integrity of this, like i.e. if they can't hurt metal, then they won't do damage when they run up to this thing. Now, if it's something that could hurt metal running up to it, then it would take damage on this thing. So it's kind of nice that way. That way it's not provoking a bunch of stuff and you're not constantly out there seeing the hit markers go off. It makes things a little bit easier for you. I dig it. The fence foundation clips just like a normal fence foundation would, and so does the pillar. The cool thing about these, and I'm going to pull up another one real quick, is they do still work just like pillars. They still have the auto snapping. You can put them on top of each other. They still work well. Like I can still snap these to the edge of these fence foundations because the fence foundation works like it normally should. Top it off, we can do something like we can put a ceiling out here, right? And then we could, let's get our metal fence foundation. Bam, you can cap those off. Like these clip just like they would to normal structures, just like they're supposed to. So this is basically a replacement pillar that also has spikes on it. This is pretty good if you're doing like a big elevated base, I would imagine, and you want the underside of it protected. This is a good opportunity to do that. And then it also can kind of reinforce your base defenses as well, making things a little bit easier. I like it. I think it's awesome. It fits great too. I get kind of discouraged sometimes when you do a spike wall around something and they don't line up exactly right. You can definitely use pillars and fence foundations to fix a lot of those issues for you. And like I said, they still work like normal. So on your outside base defenses, I think they're perfect for that. They work out pretty well. So this is the metal stuff here. Scrolling over here is the obsidian, and this is the obsidian pillar and the obsidian spike wall. But this says it's a stone wooden pillar. It's interesting. So I guess it's a stone pillar and an obsidian spike wall. Is that how this goes? Anyway. Let's also look at some of the hit points, right? So the 10,000 for the wall support, 6,250 for the pillar, and then 5,000 for the wall. So we go over to the pillar. I think the pillar is the same, 6,250, which, I mean, they're structural things, so I kind of get that. And then the spike wall is 5,000, which is lower. No, it's the same. It's the same. It's the same. So it's pretty much, they work like stone though. So whatever can hurt stone can hurt these guys, but it essentially works the same way. Aesthetically, it looks cool too. I really like the look of the stone pillars. I think they look cool with the iron like wrapped around it like that. Really cool idea. Again, works the same way. There's no fence foundation for these guys though, so you kind of have to. You would either have to use the metal or you would have to use the wood, right? So that'd be that option. Moving over, this is the wood section. Again, you're gonna have a fence foundation for this guy. It has 10,000. You know, the pillar was 6,250, and the regular spike wall is gonna be 3,500. Now, I'm assuming the HP is the same height, is the same regardless on these because they do provide some sort of structural support, so that makes sense to me. But I like that the wooden spike wall isn't quite as tough as one of these spike walls. This makes a bit more sense. Again, though, it really comes down to what dinos can hurt what. So if they can't hurt wood, which is pretty much nothing, but they wouldn't be able to attack these things, which I like. And I think it's draped over a little bit better, too. I think it looks better. I'd be curious to see if we have... So it looks like it does overwrite the Ingrams, right? So I'm on game creative mode and I'm just looking just for sake of argument. There's only one wooden spike wall in here. So it does look like it overrides the current spike walls that you would have available to you. So you won't get the normal ones, you just get these, which really isn't that big of a deal, honestly. Scrolling over, we have a tech wall. It's a tech spike wall. which I really like. I don't know if I'm 100% sold on the design, but I really like the concept of a tech spike wall. Mainly because oftentimes, especially when you get to that point, you're making a tech base, you're doing all the tech stuff, you might be using tech turrets and things like that. The idea of having a tech spike wall to match looks really good. Plus, it is done up really well. I think it's the flare out at the bottom that I'm not 100% sold on, but the idea behind it is really cool to me. I really like it. It looks really neat. And again, 45,000 health on this one, so significantly more. The scrap one is probably one of my favorites, to be honest with you. 4250 scrap metal, pretty much works like a metal spike wall, but it looks really cool. It looks like it was built out of like parts of a wrecked spaceship. I think which I think might have been the idea, but it does look awesome. I really like it. But anywho, that's pretty much what we're looking at here, is all sorts of interesting base defenses. I like this. I like the idea of kind of mashing the base defense stuff in so that it incorporates in with your normal building, you know, especially if you're like a PvE style builder. I think a lot of times you want to do base defenses, but you're worried it might mess with your aesthetics a little bit. Something like this definitely might help. And then also from a PvP standpoint, being able to kind of structurally reinforce the stuff that you already have, I think is awesome as well, especially with the metal additions here. I really dig it. All in all, it runs smooth, looks great, and yeah, I like it. I like it a lot. The second one I wanted to talk about is something that our good old friend Excalibur did over at Chill House Mods, and that's make a Harv's Corner mod. That's right. This dude made a Harv's Corner mod, and I love it. So we have the banners, the canvas sizes, this awesome helmet, and then we also have the normal green helmet, which is still brighter, actually. So if I take this off and remove the skin on it, I'm not a superhero, it's okay, you can see my identity. We can move this over, and even the green is a little bit more vibrant and crazy. But yeah, if you want this, you can totally get it. You'll have a banner, it's in some canvas stuff. Man, awesome. I really appreciate Excalibur for making this one. Big shout out to him. We will have a link to this one in the description of the video as well. If you guys grab this and start using it in your builds, join in our Discord. Throw something in Discord. I'd love to see it. But anyway, guys, that is the spike wall mod. It's a pretty straightforward mod. Not a whole lot to go on and on and on and about. It's a kind of a little one, but I really like it for the aesthetics of being able to build in here. Really, really dig it. But as always, guys, thanks for watching. Thanks for hanging out. We'll have a link to everything in the description, and I'll see you on the next one.